So this is part three. So Arlene got out of the hospital, and then when I got her home, well, I stayed at my mom's, I think, for a few days, and then I missed her. I wanted, I loved her. It's so hard when you're in an abusive relationship. It's very difficult to not go back when you're so in love with somebody. And so we talked after a few days, and then we agreed I was going to come home and we were going to talk. And then when I came home, the house, she said she was, come home at 9 o'clock the next day, and I said, okay. And she wasn't in the house. I guess she was in the yoga studio. I went upstairs, and the house was in complete and utter disarray. Everything was everywhere. There was weed on the counter, and so I just started cleaning up. Like I have high tolerance, and a lot of patience, and I started cleaning up. And then she had been doing some redecorating and rearranging. She loved to do that, and it was cool. And then I heard her be like, "Fuck!" outside or something, and I went downstairs, and she was in the backyard, and she was angry with me for being there. And I said, "Well, why are you angry with me? I don't understand." She said, "I didn't know you were going to be here." I said, "We talked yesterday on the phone, and we agreed that I was going to come home at 9 o'clock, and here I am." And the reason why she was mad is because the house, well, she maybe forgot, but the house, and also the house was in such disarray. It was a disaster. And she was high. And I said, I noticed you have some pot up there, and I don't think it's a good idea, especially because you're having problems with addictions, and I don't, you're not going to be able to smoke pot. I'm not going to date somebody that smokes pot. I'm sorry. At that time, I was totally against it, although I realize it's less harmful than alcohol. With someone that's an addict, it's really not good. And she's like, "I'm not going to stop." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess we're not going to be together then. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be with somebody that's going to be going from one addiction to another. And obviously it's not helping you because you're raging and angry at me." And anyways, got her to calm down. And one thing she said to me, I said, I told her how terrifying it was, and she said, I said, "Why would you charge at me like that?" And she said she wanted to see what I might do. I said, "Are you serious?" And I put up with so much, it's unbelievable. But she said, "I wanted to see what you might do." Because in the end, she wanted me to turn into Michael. And she tried. And I left in the end. So I'll just go through a few things, because she's slandered me to everybody, all of the clients at the yoga studio, all of her friends, probably some of the people I know. And I'm just really tired of people making up things about me, not knowing the full story and the truth, because people believe it, and I went back to her a few times. She was always doing things that were very reckless and dangerous. I remember one time she lit up we were doing it together, but she lit this Christmas tree up in the backyard, and it fucking went up like a blaze, and it was unbelievable to fire, and I was like, "Oh my God." But she was very reckless, and she was drunk all the time, not all the time, but a lot more than I realized. And she lied to me about it. She said she hadn't been drinking, and you could just tell. I started to see this glossy thing in her eyes. Her eyes were all glossy, and then I would ask her, I said, "Have you been drinking?" And she would say no. And then I found the alcohol bottles, and I said, "You need to tell me the truth." giving you another opportunity to tell me the truth. She admitted it. She went into detox a few times, got her to the meditation center. She passed out drunk several times. I had to take care of the kids. I had to make them dinner, get them to bed. I did the best I could. And I was having severe anxiety. I already had anxiety problems, but this sent it way over the top. And I was, going through a transition at work. We got a new boss, and she was not handling things appropriately. And it was just like I was getting a class. I got a class, it was like I had to teach a new class with new material that nobody had ever seen in 30 minutes. And I got upset. I just talked to her on the phone. This was when she was in, so I'm going a little bit all over the place, so forgive me, but this was when she was in Israel, and she said, quit the fucking job. Quit your fucking job. It's a piece of shit job. Quit it right now. She said, I have enough money to pay for us for 8 to 10 months. You won't have to get a job for 8 to 10 months. Just, work on your yoga training. I was going to be a yoga instructor there and teach Qigong, and I was doing some training. So just do that. Don't worry. There's lots of money. And I believed her, and she assured me this is going to work out. And I said, no, but I need to, contribute and whatever. And I was paying rent. And she convinced me to quit my job when I was in a highly emotional state, and I did. She said, just watch the kids while I'm in the yoga classes. And I also started promoting the studio, doing posters, flyers, promotions. We had a talk with a business development person to give us some ideas. So I tried my best. I created a website. I was creating all the content, all the posters. She did one or two of them, but I did most of them. I came up with the promotional ideas. I had begun teaching some classes. I taught 9 classes, I think, 7 or 9 classes there altogether. And she had told me that, she was upset one day, and I said, what's going on? How come you're upset? She wouldn't tell me. She never would tell me. And then she would say that I wouldn't let her feel her feelings, when it was really that she wouldn't express her feelings, and that she would get upset because she couldn't express herself and without getting angry. And then she would think that I was not letting her. I listened to her so much, and I encouraged her to talk, and I held her, and I encouraged her to get some counseling too. And she would always say that, let me feel my feelings, and it was just ridiculous. I would totally let her feel her feelings, and I would hold her, and I would say it's okay. I'm not going to go into some details because I don't want her kids watching this when they're older or whatever and getting hurt by it. They've already been hurt enough, but I'm not going to go into certain details that would upset them. But there's a whole lot more, I'll tell you that. So I was watching her kids for sometimes, hours, several hours, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. She'd have a class in the morning, class in the afternoon, class in the evening. So I couldn't work. I had to watch her kids, and I had to take care of the kids. I had to manage her. And every time, so anyways, she was upset, and I said, what's wrong? Is it, and then eventually I said, is it money? And she said, no. I said, are we okay? I can get a job. And I offered to, and she said, no, I want you to just focus on your yoga training. Everything's fine. I said, are you paying the mortgage? Is everything okay? And she said, yes. I said, are you sure? Yes. She assured me, everything's fine. I've got lots of money. We'll be okay. And, then a few weeks later, there was a knock on the door when she was in her yoga class. And I had to sign for something. It was like a FedEx package. And I didn't open it. I gave it to her, and she just got quiet when she opened it. And I said, "What is it?" And she wouldn't tell me, and I had to guess. And I said, "It's the house, isn't it? You lost the house, didn't you?" And she did. She lost the house. She wasn't paying, she didn't pay the mortgage for like 6 months. And she owed, $20,000 in taxes on the house, property tax. She lost it all. I got very angry with her. Tried to help work it out. Nobody could work it out. And she lost everything. And I was trying to renovate the house,